What's up, everybody? Let's kind of jump into this video. We are talking about Married to Medicine. Now, I know you guys have saw the preview and them showing us everything that is going to take place this season. And I told you all last time, we know that Sweet Tea and Dr. G is not coming back. And I told y'all that that was going to happen. They had set them up the entire time with regards to trying to make a reason to not bring those two back. And not only did they, set them up, Quad has basically stolen Sweet Tea's storyline. And we know that that was not Quad's original storyline. In fact, she never said anything about having children other than she did not want to have any because she saw the relationship between her mom and her dad. But let's get into it. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get into, Quad basically stealing Sweet Tea's storyline. And now, as you guys can see with this season, it's about her and her inability to have a child, which is crazy because she was laughing at Sweet Tea, basically saying, girl, you got into that man's DM and said that you were going to give him a baby, and girl, you didn't do nothing but lie. But it seems like Quad can't have Nan either. If we recall, let's get into this clip right here.
And say that you can give him a baby and you have not made good on that.
Yeah, we remember that, Quad. Okay, so what I want you all to do is like the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and we're going to jump right into this video.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
It's crazy when you make fun of another woman about her inability to have a child, and now you can't have one either. I think I would have skipped that storyline and just went with something else because, Quad, you dragged another woman saying that she couldn't have a child, girl, and you can't either. Your eggs is busted, broke, and cracked. Girl, you can't have none either. So you really need to, you got to be careful what you say, But let's get into it while we're on the roll here talking about Quad. And like I told you guys, this was a setup from the beginning, and y'all got to go back and watch my older videos. I told you all that they were not going to invite Sweet Tea and Dr. G back. It was a setup. I wasn't there. I watched the show and what they wanted us to see, and even from what they showed us and how they sliced it and diced it, I said, oh, they're not bringing them back. Now, what we saw is that Quad dragged Sweet Tea each and every time she got, it was just cringy to watch because I'm like, girl, I remember you showing up at Sweet Tea's bridal shower and she was openly letting you in. She didn't shade you. She didn't treat you bad. The only thing that she said, okay, this is probably odd for you to be at my my bridal shower, but she treated you with respect. She treated you with dignity. I believe she gave you a hug. But this is what we got from Quad and how she treated Sweet Tea.
Well, what do you like most about being engaged to a doctor? Access to a little morning. Access to a little morning. Access to a little morning. Access to a little morning.
Now, for those of you that probably like, what is Quad talking about? Frankly, she's really making herself look like an idiot because the question was asked with regards to Sweet Tea, and she said that pretty much Sweet Tea made herself look crazy when she said access to the money. Well, we know Sweet Tea doesn't talk like that. Sweet Tea talks eloquent. She's educated. So the fact that Quad is making, trying to make it seem like Sweet Tea is some person who can't speak, the right way. And she's making it seem like, Sweet Tea is speaking in a manner which she don't even speak in. So I did not understand that, but I do understand it because that was her way of dragging Sweet Tea. Now, since we're on a roll, what about this one?
Right about a truth thing. Oh, it is right about a truth thing.
Well, what is she writing here? This one? What is she writing about? What do you think like what?
You control You know the whole thing we said, or the house was broken into, and you know that because I didn't turn on the alarm.
They gonna beat your ass, Quad, and I'm gonna be right there.
Oh, it is right about the truth thing. Right about the truth.
Well, what I don't understand is why she continues to mock Sweet T's voice, because Sweet T don't even sound like that. And she speaks very eloquently. I don't understand why she's making her voice sound like that when she sounds more like that than Sweet T does. So as you guys see in these clips, these are just clips of Quad just trying to drag Sweet T, coming at her for no other reason other than she just didn't like her. And I was still trying to connect the dots to understand, when did they actually have a falling out, or what actually happened. I'm gonna take the glasses off, y'all, because it's the glare that be on my glasses, especially when it's too much light. I don't like it. So I was trying to connect the dots, like, okay, can we get an understanding as to why she doesn't like Sweet T? Because what I've always saw is it seemed like Sweet T at some point was giving them back, giving Quad back what she was giving her, but I never really saw where the issue had come from. Now, there are more and more clips. Here is another clip of Quad trying to drag T.
She doesn't know me. I don't know.
Well, I have a nice pair of eyes, 20/20 vision, and I.
Now, let me give you guys some background in this clip right here. The question was about who has the worst fashion, and for some reason, they named, or should I say Quad said that it was Sweet T, and Sweet T is like, well, I don't know why she continues to bring me up. I don't know her like that. And Quad is like, I don't have to know you. And then this happened.
Can't see what I see.
Okay, but why are you checking for me?
Well, I'm not checking for you at all.
Okay, then why say anything about me on social media?
A question was posed to me, sweetheart. I do not speak of you.
You do speak of me on social media. You do. You've been making fun of me and my voice. You keep on bringing.
As Sweet T said, you continue to make fun of me and my voice. And that is exactly what I'm playing, you guys. The various clips of things like this.
House, I did everything. You know what I'm saying? And Daddy just flowed on with it.
Well, she didn't have an opportunity to pick her own home. She clearly just moved into my previous home.
Oh my. I picked my own house. I did everything. You know what I'm saying? And Daddy just flowed on with it.
Well, she didn't have an opportunity to pick her own home. She clearly just moved into my previous home.
Oh my.
So as you guys can see, every single time it just seems as if Quad was at Sweet T's neck. And again, I did not understand why, other than, maybe she's trying to create conflict, because again, when Dr. G and Quad divorced, Sweet T wasn't nowhere around. So it just didn't make sense. And it gave very weird. Now, what we are learning from this season, well, let me show you guys something else. What we learned from Sweet T is that, well, we know Dr. G wanted to have a baby, because we know Sweet T got in the DMs because somehow she knew that Dr. G wanted a baby and say, hey, I can give you what you want. But what we learned this from Sweet T as the episode progressed. Sweet T got bad news.
Hello.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
Hey, I know you're busy. I'm at the doctor's office and just saw someone, a doctor, about my fibroids and cysts. So, my cysts are endometriosis related, and it's also a 50% chance that I may not be able to conceive.
So basically what Sweet T said to Dr. G is, listen, I got endometriosis, and based on that, I might not be able to have kids. So we know that this was a part of her storyline, because this is what she talked about. Sweet T also stated, which is really crazy, but we know they film these reality shows and they decide what they want to put on for us to watch. Well, they did follow Sweet T's journey, but for some reason they never showed it, right? Because she told us that. So somehow they must have made a decision that they were not going to air her IVF journey, which led me to believe that somewhere along there they decided to not put that on air, but we see them now putting Quad's alleged situation on air. And I say alleged because I'll believe it's real when she actually have a child.
I'm really scared and I'm really nervous about everything because I've always, always wanted to have a baby. And I also want to give you that. We've been talking about that. I mean, that was like something that we talked about from day one.
Nobody says that you can't conceive. They're just saying that, you have some things there. So we're going to think and hope and pray and work for the.
Now, in that particular clip, obviously, she's reaching out to Dr. G, and he's like, look, if it doesn't happen, we just going to stay prayed up. We going to stay, we're going to stay in a good mood. We're not going to let this bring us down. Now, the reason why this is so very important is because if you guys have watched the new clips for the new episode, tell me what this is right here.
Boom. Perfect.
I decided to take my IVF journey.
I decided to take my IVF journey. Wait a minute. Quad IVF journey? Y'all see where I'm going with this? So now Quad is infertile her damn self. This is the same woman that made this comment right here.
Girl, please. You have not made good on that. To him and say that you can give him a baby and you have not made good on that.
Girl, you should have kept that to yourself. You are telling her that she can't make good on something you can't make good on.
Lie to him and say that you can give him a baby and you have not made good on that.
You must be looking real crazy right about now, Quad, because girl, you can't do it either. So just be careful what you say. So what we're learning now,
I'm willing to travel over.
In this episode is Quad now wants to tell us that now she has an IVF journey. I'm a bit confused because from me watching the show from the inception, Quad never wanted to have any kids. So when I look at this is the way I look at it. Sweet Tea came on this show, okay? They decided they did not want her on there. And I'm going to get into exactly why she was actually brought on the show. It was said that Sweet Tea was brought on this show to actually give Quad a storyline. It was also said that Quad did not have any other source of income. And at one point, Quad's house was actually on she was going to sell it, I guess, because she didn't know what life was going to look like in terms of her getting back on the show. So apparently, she back on the show now. So all of that has been canceled. But they had said that allegedly Sweet Tea was brought on the show to give Quad a storyline. And I'm really starting to believe it because Sweet Tea coming on here talking about her IVF journey. Now it becomes Quad's journey. Isn't that weird? Why would Quad want to have a child by her boyfriend, her age? Girl, you most definitely should be trying to do it the other way. So Quad is now making this her storyline about an IVF journey when this was Sweet Tea's storyline the entire time.
I decided to take my IVF journey to Ghana. I'm willing to travel over to the motherland for my babies.
I'm willing to travel to the motherland for my babies. Anything for a check, I guess, okay? Because that was never, ever Quad's storyline. It wasn't even her storyline when she actually had a husband, okay? Now, this next video I want to show you guys, Sweet Tea is actually saying what she had been told by the group. This sudden storyline of Quad and wanting to have twins has never been something that she's wanted. So it seems like this storyline of hers is fake, and this is what she's doing for a check.
That Toya has talked to me about, like, the things her and Simone said they were going to do, and and so, they have, that's them. That's their little group. That's what they do. And so, when I came into it, I even felt like Toya, she really wanted me to go to war with Gregory's ex when I didn't know her. Check my phone. You know, she wanted me to go to war with Gregory's ex when I didn't know her. I was like, I don't understand why, because I don't know her. Why would I be upset? There's no reason to be upset, and there's no beef. And like, everybody has to keep in mind that Gregory has always had a friendship, an open line of communication with the men. You know, golf trips they go.
Now, another thing, I'm going to stop it here because it seems like the public thought that Sweet Tea wanted to come on this show, but they, and when I say they, I'm going to say the group, everybody other than Quad, had been trying to get her on this show since she had met Dr. G. She said she did not want to be on the show. Now, keep in mind, what she's explaining is Dr. G, at least he thought, because, you know, they were hanging out. Him and the guys were still hanging out. So it wasn't like she tried to infiltrate Quad's friends. Like, Dr. G, who is a doctor, was hanging out with the other doctors. And somehow they were like, listen, we want to bring y'all back on the show. Pay attention.
Go on and everything. So it was very natural for me to meet his friend circle's wives. And, you know, and to tell you the truth, even when we were around certain things and I was meeting them, the ex was nowhere to be found. You know, that never was an issue. So it never was that I came into her group of friends, because let them tell it, she was never a friend to them.
Now, did you guys catch that part? What Sweet Tea was told was that Quad wasn't even really their friend. Are y'all following this? So this is kind of the framework for how they became really cool, because they pretty much pulled them two into the group. Sweet Tea doesn't even know Quad at this point herself. So she's going on what they say. And hey, she ain't really, they telling her, hey, she's not really a friend to us anyways.
And it's just strange, you know, having these people, you know, try to get me on the show and come together and, hey, and open the door and with, you know, open arms to welcome me. And then all of a sudden just flip at a switch randomly, like just to invite me on to bully me. And I just feel like I was just a penny to them. I was just a $. And so.
Oh, so they could make more money for another season. They got more money off your back.
Yeah, they got more money. They did get more money off my back.
So basically, bringing Sweet Tea on to the show, obviously it created a storyline for a lot of people. And if you guys pay attention to Married to Medicine, we only see that group of women and their husbands that's consistent. Even Contessa was off the show at one particular time. So most definitely she was used, okay? She was never brought onto this show to be permanent. She was brought on this show because they sit around and decide who is going to be the person that they're going to obviously, you know, seemingly attack for storyline. We saw it happen with Phaedra. We saw it happen with a bunch of different ladies on the show. We even saw it happen with Quad. Her ass was off the show at the time that Sweet Tea actually came on the show. Now, we're going to get into something else, okay? Now, in this particular video, Sweet Tea explains some things, and I want y'all to pay attention.
God might be jealous of you for some reason. People are saying, what do you mean, Sweet Tea? How could that be? What is your response to that?
I would say that, you know, because that I have a relation, you know, I'm married. You know, I'm married to a doctor. You know, I'm in public health. You know, I have a relation to medicine. And, you know, I know at one point, she did call my husband asking for a favor, and he didn't do that for her. And I think that
actually, I'm going to stop this because of that background music. Y'all know how how YouTube be tripping. So in this particular episode, y'all gotta put my glasses back on, child. In this particular, interview, Sweet Tea goes on to say that she felt like, you know, possibly Quad had some kind of I'm gonna say envy toward her. Some people say it's jealousy, and I know like the internet just crashed because y'all was like, why would Quad be jealous of Sweet Tea? Well, here's the deal. Sweet Tea stated that Quad was in fact trying to reach out to Dr. G to get doctor's excuses and things of that nature. So I don't know exactly what that was all about. Yes, we do know that Quad divorced Dr. G, but she was still, for some reason, I guess, trying to reach out to him to get excuses for different stuff. I don't know what that's all about. But if you guys just watch the clips, it does seem like Quad, I don't know why I keep taking these glasses off. It's like I put them on and take them off. And I got a prescription in here that should keep me from doing this. I don't know why I keep doing that. But here's the deal. What Sweet Tea was saying is, listen, I am married to medicine. I am married to a doctor. I check all the boxes to be on this show. But for some reason, that wasn't enough because Sweet Tea was in fact being used on this show specifically for a storyline. Now, there is a video where Dr. Heavenly admitted that she brought Sweet Tea on the show and the other lady strictly to be used, and she admitted it. And y'all know what? Dr. Heavenly has scrubbed her YouTube channel, and she has either hidden those videos or taken them down for whatever reason. I don't know, but the video is gone. I can find it if I go to other blogs and stuff, but you know, Dr. Heavenly is out here trying to be a fraudulent politician. So, honey, she done removed all of those videos. But the fact of the matter is Sweet Tea was brought on this show to give them a storyline. And that's pretty much it. So we have Quad, who is basically saying she's having infertility issues, which, I mean, I guess she is. This is Sweet Tea's storyline, okay? She's using Sweet Tea storyline, and the vengeance against Sweet Tea, it continues because not only did you guys play to get this woman off the show, and y'all did all of the stuff that you did, you then went and stole this woman's storyline.
While it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.